So if you've tried getting clients for your video business, there's a lot of ways of going about doing that, right? But if you've watched any of my content, you know I like to talk about personal brands. The reason is because it's literally the best way to get clients, right? They chase you instead of you chasing them. So on the topic of personal branding, I actually want to answer a question from one of the members in the free community I have. So the question is, hey Knox, got a question about building your brand. Does it help to have a lot of followers? I have a small Instagram account that's just focused on video production. Would it be better to shift that content towards my niche before trying to boost anything or run an ad? Okay, so that's a great question. That's what I want to talk about in this video. Does it really matter if you have a lot of followers, or can you get clients without a lot of followers? Okay, so that's what I want to talk about today. So the simple answer is really to focus more on the quality over the quantity. Okay, so here's a good way to kind of show what that looks like. Okay, so you're really focusing on the big fish. Yes, if you have a net, you can catch tons and tons of fish. These are gonna be little minnows who you can't actually really eat. You can't do anything with minnows, right? So you're gonna be focusing on bigger fish. These are basically clients who are actually gonna pay you money instead of just followers who don't really matter, who aren't actually gonna buy anything. Okay, so that's what I mean by quality. Okay, you want followers who are actually going to buy your service, because at the end of the day, that's really what you're trying to do. You're trying to make money off of your personal brand. Okay, so you need to actually focus on getting quality followers. So now the question becomes, how do you actually get quality followers who are going to pay you for your services? Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about a lot today. So you need a way to weed out the minnows and only attract your ideal client profile, and it's a lot easier than you'd actually think. So the secret is to actually dial in your messaging to be very specific to your ideal client profile. So it's the equivalent of going from a net to a fishing rod. Okay, so you're not going to be getting tons and tons of followers anymore, but the people you do catch, the fish that you do catch, those are going to be bigger fish who actually these are going to be clients who actually pay you for your services, if that makes sense. So scrolling down here, I'll show you an example of that. So when you're creating your content, it's all in your messaging, like I said. So for this one, here's a great example. Videographers stuck below 10K per month. Okay, so let's say you're a dentist who's watching this. You're probably not going to be interested. If you're a roofer, you're probably not going to be interested. Okay, so this messaging, it really hones in on a specific audience. So for you, this could be e-commerce brands trying to get more website sales, or real estate agents trying to sell more houses, or whatever, right? So you really need to call out your ideal clients or call out your niche. And that's really, like I said, it's all in your messaging. So when you do that, a lot's actually going to change, and I'll break that down here. So here's what happens when you do this, okay? So your cost per follower is actually going to go up. So cost per follower, as in, if you're trying to do this, there's two ways of going about doing it. There's organic, so basically trying to go viral, and there's paid, which is, in my opinion, the much better way to do it. It's a lot faster, and you can actually pay to get clients, okay? But your cost per follower is going to go up if you're paying for it, and your views are going to go down. And here's why. So your cost per follower is going to go up because less people are interested in seeing it. So the people you pay to see it are going to be very specific people. You're going to pay to target, in my case, videographers. In your case, it could be real estate agents. It could be e-commerce brand owners, right? It could be anyone in your niche, okay? But when you do this, your views are going to go down, and it honestly makes perfect sense. The reason why is because you're not going to reach every average person scrolling Instagram or scrolling TikTok or whatever, right? It's going to be a very specific group of people, and it's going to obviously mean less views, right? But at the end of the day, the views aren't actually going to make you money. The people who do see this are going to be your ideal clients, right? Like I said, you're not going to watch this if you're just a random construction worker, right? It's gonna be a very specific person who watches this, okay? So your views are gonna go down, and I wanna point this out. Most of my views look a lot like this. It's gonna be somewhere from 2 to 600 views, right? Sometimes they get like 1,000, 7,000, but usually it's not that much, okay? So most of it actually comes from paid. This got about 400 views organically, then I paid like $50 a day to actually reach new people. Okay, but you can see here my messaging is dialed in, so the people who do watch this and who do comment on it, they're going to be ideal clients. These are people I can actually work with. Does that make sense? So when you do run your ads, it's going to be targeting specific people. So let's say you had made this as, real estate agents trying to sell more homes. Thank me later, comment the word, real estate to, get a free list of how to sell your home or whatever, something like that, right? Then you get people who comment here. These are going to be your ideal clients who are basically raising their hand saying they want to work with you, right? They're not saying that yet, but you bring them through the whole funnel and eventually they become a client. That's a whole nother video that I can talk about, okay? So hopefully that makes sense so far. Your cost per follower is going to go up, your views are going to go down, but the quality of your follower is going to go up. So for me, I'm DMing, every single follower. So the quality is actually super important. I don't want to be DMing random people. I want to be DMing people who I'm actually going to be working with, okay? So quality is going to go way up. So just for some numbers here, my cost per follower, or your cost per follower, should be around $2, right? That's basically what mine is too. So if it's a lot lower than that, that means you're probably just attracting minnows. Minnows as in people who just aren't your ideal clients. They're not people who are actually going to pay you for your services. Okay, so to break down some numbers here, this was some of my ad spend. I spent $176. I got 85 followers. So the cost per follower was just over $2, which is pretty good. So out of those 85 followers, that started 40 messages, and then I got 2 calls booked. So out of those 2 calls, hopefully at least one of them turns into a client. Okay, so that goes to show, yes, your cost per follower is going to be a little bit higher, but at the end of the day, these are going to be quality followers. These aren't just random people. If I didn't dial in my messaging, if I was just saying, everyone, here's how to make 10K per month, then I'd get tons and tons of people, but no one would actually really be my ideal clients, right? They're not people I actually want to work with. They're just going to be low quality followers. So yes, my cost per follower would go way down, but I'd basically just be attracting minnows at that point. Does that make sense? So the key takeaways here are, followers are important, but the big thing here to take away is the quality over the quantity. And I basically just showed you how to do that. So focus on creating valuable content for your niche that attracts your ideal clients and pushes away the minnows, right? You don't want to be, you don't want your DMs filled up with people who aren't interested in buying your services. You want quality followers who are actually going to turn into clients down the road. So hopefully that makes sense. Appreciate your question, Christian. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'll leave a link to the free school community below. And otherwise, I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.